The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
I started up the broadcast a little bit late, just a couple seconds. Anyway, here we are. Can you identify this picture? I know the people here can. Andy can. Andy did. What is it, Andy?
It's Victoria Falls.
Victoria Falls. And I put this picture up just to remind people that we live in a beautiful world. And one day we will be able to visit it again and see it again. And so this is the goal. And hopefully not in the not too distant future, we'll be able to go out and see these things once again. Or for me, at least once. And for Andy, once.
I've been there, done that.
Yeah. Let's see, this is Falls. See this bridge here? This bridge right down here. This is where they do the bungee jumping here, right? This little thing right here. That's it.
And it's very difficult to see scale on this. They are
these little cars right here.
enormous.
Yeah.
And none of your whiskey first world things like, fences to stop people falling in or off the edge and nonsense like that. None of that nonsense. It's like you can walk right up to the edge of the thing, jump off if you feel the edge. We don't bother with. I say we. This is on the border of Zimbabwe and Zambia, but none of this wussy health and safety nonsense. The smoke that thunders.
Yeah.
Sure looks nice.
Anyway. Yeah, that's a nice picture.
Yeah.
Really gives you a good idea.
I recommend the river rafting. We did the river rafting from there down, and it is a barrel of laughs. Really good fun.
All right. Anyway, folks, we live in a beautiful world. Remember that as you're sitting at home, not able to go out or just, whatever. Okay. So off we go. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Everybody out there in Clarion Live land, this is the Clarion Live weekly webinar. See it and learn it and share it. This is webinar number 580. Today is September 18th, 2020. The Clarion date is 80253. All webinars are recorded and available at clarionlive.com. Please join us on Skype anytime. And the webinars are live streaming on YouTube at this very moment. And there are 6 Clarionites watching on YouTube. So, hi. All right. We have hosts for today's webinar. Arnold, who is just barely coming in. We can skip him for a moment. I'm John. That's me. Lisa's not with us today. Bruce is with us today. Hello, Bruce.
Hey, everyone.
Mike Hansen is not with us today. And Arnold has just made it. Hi, Arnold. I see his mic's on. Now he's making me look bad. He's here. He's here.
Hi.
Oh, there he is. How are you doing with all the smoke and fire and
stuff? Yeah, that's the other barrel of laughs that's happening here.
You hear me, John?
I can hear you. Yep, you're a little soft.
Okay. I had the audio wrong.
Oh. Anyway, how are you doing where you are? Because it's
pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah. It got better. Like here. Hey Siri, air quality.
The air quality is good at 33 right now.
Whoa. Let's say 33.
It was under 30, last night. It was.
I think I'm worse than that.
Places in the Bay Area was under 20. So, but it's supposedly will get bad again this weekend.
Alexa, what's the air quality?
Right now, in Richmond, Washington, the air quality is unhealthy. with an air quality index of 172. You
Oof.
should reduce prolonged or heavy exertion outside. If you're sensitive to air quality, you should
There's
avoid
a
being
lot of
outdoors.
warnings here. It's telling me not to go outside. So, yeah, and it's been like that for a week.
Yeah, our last 2 weeks were like that, but no, 2 days ago it got better. And my air purifier just showed up yesterday. My walls
Just after the nick of time. Yeah, perfect.
well, it's not gone. It's coming back. So
All right. I'll
All
tell you,
right.
life's an adventure, especially in the
Mhm.
year 2020. All right, we have rules of the
2020.
webinar. Yeah,
2020. What a year.
what a year. All attendees are muted. There's questions. Type them in, speak, and then measure twice, cut once. I had to think about that because I always want to measure once, cut twice, but then you're just wasting material.
I'd rather cut twice, measure once.
Cut twice. Okay? So yeah, measure twice, and then you only have to cut once. That's the idea.
I know. I'm just throwing you off.
Okay, Andy's with us today with tools and utilities
Yes.
to make your life easier. Yep. So
I
that'll be
am.
cool. And Bruce will be with us next week. Now, Bruce was going to be with us this week, but
What happened?
this Jason the Clarion converter is a monster of awesomeness, and
It's going to be quite
Bruce
cool,
wanted
I
to-
think.
he wanted to make it just a little more awesome and take a
Yep.
few more days to finish it up. So
I don't know where I learned that trick from.
Ooh.
The endlessly tweaking it, making it
Endlessly
ever better.
Changing it just before the webinar.
yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, so that'll be next week, and then look at all the Octobers. There's nothing in the Octobers at all.
Oh, there must be a take a autumn vacation. Mm-hmm.
An autumn vacation. I'll tell you though that we've been getting some very good webinars the past, well, forever really. But all these times when we have all these question marks, all of a sudden someone will step up and say, "Hey, I'll do that," and they're all turning out great. So yeah, I would encourage anyone. If you've never done a webinar, if you've done them before, if you have something you want to share,
It is fun.
great time to do it. Yeah, it is. It is kind of fun.
Anybody.
Anybody. All right.
Raise your hand.
So
Jump.
speaking of presentations, we've got one coming up this Saturday, tomorrow, with Rick Martin.
What
And,
time? 5 p.m. Cape Town. 8 a.m.
Clarion Live time. Yeah, specific time. So an hour before now. Well, an hour before now and 10 minutes, I guess, is when it would start for everyone. And the last one was it was a lot of fun. On my end, I didn't have to present. I just produced. So these are quite enjoyable for me. And it turned out great. And Rick, we've already practiced with Rick, and he's all ready to go. And so, yeah, tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock. If you haven't signed up and you'd like to, you can go to CIDC2020.com and sign up. You get all of these extra bonus sessions. Plus, when we get to South Africa, we'll record all those too, and you'll get all of those as well. And if you've already signed up for CIDC, then you get all these anyway. So I think, Bruce, you sent out an email. Is that right?
I did.
Everybody? Excellent.
You did? I didn't get one.
Are you signed up?
You should have. Yeah, you should,
You should have gotten one. You should be signed up. See, I've added a new graphic to the slide here. See this little check mark here, this little green check mark.
Ooh, graphics.
Graphics, so you
Hey,
know
talk
that one's
about
done.
connections. I had like a training session for a new client yesterday, and I had like 4 or 5 internet disconnections. Are you experiencing anything like that in these days?
Well, I get my router falls over, but I think that's me. I have to every now and then I go offline because my router has lost interest in life.
Well,
Yeah.
mine is just a disconnection that lasts less than a minute. It comes back, but it's tough when you're connected to people like on, like this. You go away and reconnects, and it's disruptive.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It happens.
Well, all week
right.
I've had solid streams for the YouTube, but right now it seems to be having a little bit of a struggle. So hopefully it will
Must be it's Friday.
straighten itself out. Yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
So anyway, yeah, I'm always
Rick
excited for
Martin,
the
be
presentation.
ready.
He's ready.
I gotta go set my alarm because I missed that last one. I don't know how the hell that happened.
Get up, watch it live.
I was.
All right, announcements. Andy, we had a Noyantis user group meeting this week.
We did. Oh, crikey.
Andy!
Hi. 2 seconds and I will tell you what we did, because I've uploaded it, I put the notes on it, and then I've chucked my notes away. So 2 seconds. 14th, there we go. So according to this, we discussed the addition of the spell checker to the HTML editor, both the older version and the newer version. So it's not supported yet, but we are going to support it, especially if they've got a special offer on at the moment. So that's the real-time spell checker. So as you type, it'll underscore in red and give you options and so on and so forth. We covered what was a query regarding Chilcat and sending text messages. It actually ended up being related to the reg-free.com settings. The existence of the actual DLL wasn't there, which would hinder it starting. But there was that discussed, and then we did a bit of an in-depth look at passing notifications around via the docking panes. And that was really it. But if you do use docking panes for your applications, then it's probably worthwhile taking a look at that one, because it can tell you how to have panes within panes and panes within sub windows, and send notifications around from parent to child. And that was it.
All right. Bruce, on the YouTube, someone with the initials of BT says that they didn't get an email either. So,
I
I'm not sure who that
can't.
is.
Yeah, well, at least you're here. So the mail just sent. Like if you the mail does have a link in it, but you can always get the link by going to the streaming page on CRDC. So it's not like you're going to miss out if you don't get the email. Just go log into crdc2020.com and go ahead and go to the streaming page, and you'll find a link there. Actually, I wonder if you will. You will by tomorrow.
Right. Oh.
I'll make sure there's a link there. So that before the webinar starts. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't know if I've posted it yet, but
Oh, I gave you all the links, so you can post all of
them. You
them.
gave me all the links. I could post all of them. And I'll make sure that's up before tomorrow.
Right. Open webinar. There was an open webinar. That lasted an hour. All sorts of people came. Mike Hansen was there, and Andy was there, and Bruce was there, and I was there. And we had questions, and we answered them.
As one does.
As one does. Yeah. So that was pretty good. We had an updated question. And there were a couple things weren't coming into updated, I guess. And so I'm working on that. But while I'm working on that, I thought I would show this. So just take a second. It's a new feature coming to update it, which has been requested. And I think I finally figured out how to do it. So I thought I would show it, because why not? So see all these nice little check boxes over here? There's been requests to be able to do a bunch of them automatically. And I wasn't quite sure how to do it, but then it's just one of those, oh, I know how to do it now. Eureka moments that you have once in a while. So if I wanted to update every single template, I guess I could click there and see all the checks came on. I can click it off and all the checks will go off. But if I want to do just say, not current. Okay, here we go. These are not current. CapeSoft. There. So if I want to update all the CapeSofts at once, I can tag them all. And then just click on install. And then this will pop up. And this is still in process. It's not quite done, but I've got it kind of laid out right, and things are starting to look like they're going to look. So here's all the products that we tagged. So these are all the ones that we would be installing. And if I click down, it's refreshing over here, but you know, these don't really refresh, but you'll see these do, I think. Oh, there we go. See, I don't have a password for this one. Yeah, so I can go down and make sure everything is correct. And then I could click install all, and it should start going down the list one after the other, and install them all. That's the feature. So I thought I'd show that off because I was pretty excited about this, where you can just click once and it fills in all the stuff that you want. See, it didn't do Niantic because I only clicked Ksoft. Is that clever or what, Andy? What do you think about that?
You've just made me think I need to add a couple of methods, because I bet you're doing that row at a time, whereas I can just, I think I'll introduce that as a new method. So if it's got children and set it to checked, then it can go through the child rows and do that for you automatically.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So yeah,
that's what I ended up doing was.
Well, I think it must be doing through going through the child rows, but that's fine. I'll introduce a new method for that, because I quite like that. I can use that myself.
Yeah, I liked it too, especially once I got it working, because it's one of those things where it's like, not working yet. Why did it skip those? You know, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think it's a good step forward for this. It's a good feature, I think. So good suggestion by all, and I think especially because Bruce, what did you just release, like 9, I guess, updates or something?
Oh no, I do 9 a day.
Okay, well, 9 a day. But I know you did a group because of the change in the new Clarion.
Yeah,
so it'd be really nice to just be able to go and click, okay, I want to get that group, and then you're done. Because otherwise, that's a lot of downloading and stuff, right? Jeez.
Yeah, it can be.
Okay, so that's all I wanted to show for that. And then there was a NetTalk user group meeting, and
There
Bruce
was
there. Yeah.
And we did a couple of questions. It wasn't our longest one, but and I've almost got the page up to date, so that should be going up. Well, maybe tomorrow. I've got all the notes in. I've got the page ready to go. I just haven't uploaded it, and I need to upload all the actual webinars. It's admin-y things, you know. It's like I'm not very good with the admin-y things. I like the creative programming side, but you know what it's like.
I do. All right. And the next week, hey, Bruce will be with us. Jason Clarion.
That's it. Jason Clarion. Really cool. Actually, someone wrote me this morning and said, I've got this Jason and how do I do it? And it was like hectically complicated. And I was like, oh, as it happens, I've got a little program that you feed it to Jason and it spits out the code, which is very cool. So I did that for him.
Did it work?
It did work.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, nice.
Now,
Nice.
it did everything. It did the JSON. It would have actually been fine, but the JSON structures, all the Clarion structures were like completely reversed. All the fields were in backwards order, but that was no big deal. I can fix that manually. But and obviously it'll be fixed. But it is interesting to see, because it was one of those like really hectic pieces of JSON that you get sometimes, where you've got lots and lots of things all happening, and worked first time. So yeah, we'll see that. It is on the cool side, as I say. Even sometimes I even impress myself, and that was one of those sort of like, yeah,
Nice.
cool.
So the origins of this, it started in the open webinar, and it's progressed all the way up to an amazingly cool thing that's going to be part of JFiles. So I guess one more reason to drop by the open webinars if you've got some ideas or something, or share some stuff or talk to us, right?
Yeah. I mean, it was just a
Yeah.
just a casual conversation, and we had a bit of time, and before you know it, things
It's a
got way
cool
out of hand. It got way out of
Gotten
hand.
way out of hand, and hours of programming time have been devoted to it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So very, very cool. All right, that brings us to our feature presentation with Andy. So are you ready, Andy?
No.
Perfect.
So,
None of-
but yes,
none of us
yeah.
are.
Yeah, fine. Let's go for it. although there's not really
Okay,
much
here you
to
go.
show. But yeah, nothing to show at the moment, but that's fine. Okay, so this really could go down as one of the shortest Friday webinars on record. But let's see.
Famous last words. I'll tell you that right now.
Yes, yeah, we've come across on that a couple of times on the Monday ones. Well, basically, what I'm hoping not to do today is actually touch Clarion. So it's not for Clarion knowledge. It's just utilities and tools, some in Windows, some online, which have helped us. This year, as we all know, has been a bit different, and we've all, in some respects, had to change our working practices. I know we as a business definitely have, and we've adopted some new technologies. We've changed some of our working practices and so on. And I'm pretty happy with some of the tools that we're using. And we've also tried a few others along the way. And the set we're using now, work for us. So there's no affiliations. I'm just making recommendations on my own personal usage, and all of these are my own views and so on. And if anybody, as I'm showing one of the particular things, thinks, oh, Andy, you could do this, or there's an alternative, by all means, get in the question box and we'll chat about them as we go along. So that's basically the what came along here. So we've had scenarios where we all had to go into confinement, lockdown, if you will, and work from home. Development teams been split up, working locations and so on, and so on. So we've had to change a few practices. So one of the things we do is we run I'm just trying to think where to start. Basically, there's a few. So I'll start with say project management. So we did run a project management system called Jira on one of our in-house servers, and it served us very well. You couldn't really give that to end users. Sorry. We couldn't really give that to end users because I think the interface didn't really lend itself too well to that. So we did a bit of shopping around, tried a few other alternatives, and we settled upon one. Let's open it up, called Clubhouse. So if anyone's watching, has anyone actually used Clubhouse, heard of Clubhouse? Can we have a quick show of hands? That's pretty much empty. So that's good. Yeah, that's good. Okay. So basically, I'll post all the links, but I'll show you some of this in action, if you will. So Clubhouse is a project management system, and we use it, to assign work and tasks and so on, and bug tracking, feature releases, version releases, so on and so forth. Now, what I'll do, don't get me wrong, if the business needs anything within reason, we get it and so on. But like everybody, you also try and find a cost-effective option. This is a really cost-effective option. Basically, you can have up to your first 10 users free of charge, and they're guaranteed to make it free of charge forever, which is, in my mind, that's pretty cost-effective. So we run this. And it's the usual. If anyone's not aware of this type of approach and the agile development, if you will, the idea is you create stories, and there could be feature requests, there could be bug reports, things like that. You can then put them into epics, which is basically nothing more than a collection of stories. You can set milestones or sprints, as it would be called. There's loads of terminology which people would refer to. You're supposed to have sprints and stories. For me, I like to go with a nice, easy approach, and projects, stories, epics, things like that. So let me log into ours, and I'll show you. I'll show you how we use it. I don't know which one, what we're on here. So basically, first of all, you can have different workspaces. So we have different workspaces for different clients, different projects we're working on, and so on. So there you go. We're on our Noyantis one at the moment. And again, all of these are, you can have unlimited workspaces. It's all cloud-based. There's a mobile app for it, so you can keep track of tasks and bugs and so on while you're on the go. So it's really easy to use. That's one of the reasons why we came away from Jira. And I'm not bad mouthing Jira. Jira is really powerful, definitely very powerful, but you can end up spending too much time doing that and not doing your work. So this we found is a happy medium. So we basically these are stories. We have basically Wendy set this up for us. She's in charge of this, and we have these columns. So we have our backlog, we have what's ready for development, any failed testing, in development, ready for review, ready for testing, and then ultimately completed, and so on. There are older. We do complete work. I know that looks pretty grim there, but we do. But these actual columns, they are fully definable, and they are definable per workspace. So just because you have that definition for this workspace, for this particular project, if you will, you don't have to have it for all of them. So it's really flexible, is I suppose the point I'm making. So let me switch to schedule it. Now, anybody who's basically visited us on our Monday webinar, you'll have seen the project. It's one of our projects, applications that we're hoping to bring to market and so on and so forth, and that. So they've been part of that development journey with us on the Monday webinar. Now there's lots on there, as you can see, and what I was doing is I'm going to actually log a bug in here. So I've got schedule it to open. Oh, sorry, let's just jump back to this. So Clubhouse, yeah, we've got our particular categories. You can work on a particular fault. So we've got where was it? Yeah, allow me to block. So you can see here somebody's raised it. Wengel requested it, and she's assigned it to me to work on, and so on. But basically, yeah, she's noted down. You can have your images and so on, and you can actually create subtasks. So I know for one of ours, which we're working on, it should be in development. Forms against a patient. There we go. So you've got our actual story. Then you can split it into subtasks, so you can tick each one off as you go along. You can assign. I'm just trying to see where it is. This is a feature request. Admin requested it, so Wendy requested it, and for me to work on. It's in the state of in development, and basically belongs to a project called the front end. Question, actually, that should be a project called Forms, but I'll ask her about that. You've got direct links should you need to be able to go straight to that. And although I can't see it on here, what you can do is allocate basically estimated time. Now they do it in like a points system, if you will, but you can allocate time against it, how much time you expect it to take. And of course, you can have a look afterwards at how long it did take, and I'll cover in a second how we do that. But we actually use a different tool, which is one of the contents for today. Okay, so we've got that. You have epics. So we can see basically these are collections of stories. So the forms, it's a new feature we're putting in. We've created an epic for it. It's got 5 stories in there. We haven't given it a due date, but you could do. And then they've got a system called milestones, which are ultimately sprints. So the agile development would be of this epic. Okay, we want to add the ability for them to create their own custom questionnaires and medical forms or social forms or questionnaires and so on. We want the ability for them to be able to create it, and we want the users to be able to assign them against patients and fill them in on the fly and so on and so forth. Now that, from a development project planning point of view, we would say we've got to do the maintenance screens, we've got to do a browse, we've got to do the maintenance screen for the form, then we've got to basically do a new browse against a patient where for the completed forms, and then we've got to basically allow them to do the new forms and present it from the created data, things like so on. So all things which we all do on a daily basis, but it goes into this system. So you wouldn't necessarily just say, okay, I'm going to do that and I'm hoping to get it done a couple of weeks' time, something like that, in 2 weeks. You could split it into smaller milestones. So you could split it into sprints. So in the next 2 days, I want to try and get this part of it accomplished. And then 2 days after that, I want to try and finish these other parts. So basically, you then start giving yourself goals to work towards. And that's what the milestones or the sprints are. You've got reporting. So yeah, we've got set no milestones. You can create any number of labels. We kind of use ours for versioning, but you can. There's another project, but I don't want to go into it because it's a client's project. And it's only fair I don't show that. But they put them against certain attributes within the actual application. So they'll create a label for that, and then you can use filtering at runtime to actually filter what you're looking at. So you can come to your actual your stories board, and there is quite a lot to take, and then you can say, okay, I need to filter this. So we can say just owned by me. Okay, so now I'm looking at just my workload. And you've got this and or. So we'll have owned by me and in a milestone to do epic, in progress epic. Oh, no, let's get rid of that one. Oh, sorry, it was that one. But we get the idea. So basically, you've got filtering, as you would expect. So basically, let's have a look at owned by me and our bugs. So they're okay. I need to work on those first because they are bug reports and we need to work on that. So you basically get to fine tune your own area. And this is obviously per user, as you would expect, and so on. I'm going to create a story. So let's just get rid of those filters. I could have left them, by the way. And where's schedule it? Here's schedule it. Okay. So I know there's an actual bug. So I'm going to go into it, quickly divert off, and I'm going to mention another tool which we also use this time now. So I want to basically bring the two together. I'll tell you what, no, we'll finish off creating the bug and then I'll show you the other tool. So onto here, I'm going to create a story, and I happen to know the bug is when booking / changing an appointment, the patient ID is blank, even though, oh, it's blank, that's it. Put more description against it. Name displays, but the ID remains blank. Okay, so that's our story. And there it is highlighted. 2580 is our number. If we didn't know, because we've got a lot, and somebody just phones you up and says, can you take a look at 2580? And you're thinking, crikey, where's that? So you can type in 2580. It's got it there. Yep, got that. Or you can type in some words, obviously, which is probably more realistic. You can press reveal, and it will actually reveal itself in the thing, so you can just go straight to it. Okay, so we've got our story in. I'm going to put an image in against that to help the person working on it. So we'll go to our patient list. Sorry, it was booking an appointment. I'll go to booking an appointment, and we'll say patient 1, and sure enough, it is blank. So I'm going to use a snipping tool, which of course we're all kind of aware of, built into Windows. I'm going to use that. I'm going to highlight the actual thing to the user so they can see it. That should be copied, and I'm just going to paste that into our story. So onto here, paste that, and brilliant. So now we've got that. So it's really informative for the person who's working on it. Remember, all of this is free as well, so it's really not bad. So that's really informative for the person who gets it assigned to. So I'm creating it, and I'm going to assign it for Wengel to take a look at. Actually, I'm going to assign it to Wengel. So there you go. So that will appear on her storyboard for her to work with, and I'm going to log it. It's part of that project, obviously. It's not on the backlog. I'm actually going to, I'll keep it on the backlog. It's part of the patients, and I'm going to say it's a bug. You don't have to do all these. I'm just showing you the options that you've got. Okay, so that's that. Now, what would be nicer is sometimes we get an error where you have to go through a series of steps, and of course you can end up typing War and Peace to show the use of that particular error. So we also use a system. So I'm going to close that. That's saved. We use a system called Screenomatic. and I'm sure people have already got this and using it and so on. There's a free version. We actually paid for this, and it's a bargain. It's pence. It's something like, where is it? Oh, pricing. Sorry, I went straight past it. It's something like $36 for 3 years. So it's like $1 a month, which is just which is just ridiculous. So I'm going to actually log that same bug. So back to my schedule it. I'm going to cancel that, and I'm going to show them what I mean. So basically, I'll fire up Screen-O-Matic. If it wants to fire up, thank you very much. We'll do a recording, and basically you can say what part of the screen to record. But I'll probably just grab that part. That's going to be enough. I'm going to say, okay, record that. So gives you a countdown. There's shortcut keys to all this, of course, and you can add music and narrative and all the things you would expect on screen recording. So I'm going to record that. I'm going to highlight, go to that, go to 1, and we can see there's our error, and basically that's all I really want to show. Oh, I can actually show that. I'll book the appointment. That'll do. And go back in, and it's still blank. So that's the bug. That's what I want to highlight. So we'll end our recording, and I'm just going to edit it. So sure enough, there's our recording, as we would expect. What we've just seen. I'm going to come across, because I want to basically show what I'm referring to. So I'm going to go across to there. And I'm going to add a highlight to this area. Not basically, I want to show that there for a second. So I want to highlight that is blank. I could have done it too early, actually. And then come across. We went out, we went back in, and it's still blank. So I want to, again, just put another highlight there. So, and that doesn't need to be that long. So brilliant, we've got that. That's kind of what we're after for our video. We want to. I didn't know he was recording my voice at the same time. So basically, if we come and show that video now, they'll be able to see what we're trying to highlight to them. So we've got our video. I'm going to save that. We could upload it to Screen-O-Matic. Don't particularly need to. Just going to save it. I'm going to put that as patient entry bug. That'll be fine. Got that, brilliant, I'm happy, we'll save it. I've got my video, it's just come up in a folder. So great, kind of finished with Screen-O-Matic there, so I can get rid. I'll go back to our bug report, which is the whole point we were doing this, 2580. It's changed, I don't know if anyone saw there, it's changed to a bug rather than a feature. It's changed its colouring, and so we can say, okay, and here's a video that shows the issue. And I'll just drag that across. And again, that's now up on the cloud, so that's available on the phone. If Wengo's working at home, let's say, because like I say, the whole point of this is we're all in different places and so on and so forth. Besides which, we've got now an audit trail of the bug. Wengo can log into hers, see, show me highlighting the issue, and she can go on the video and don't know if you can hear the audio of the thing. I've got it. Just letting this finish, just in case you're not hearing the audio. And then go back in, and there it is. So basically, that's one of the tools which we use, and we depend on this now, I've got to admit, really heavily. We actually there's myself, there's Wendy, there's Wengel. We also work with Paul, who's Paul here, so where is he? He is, thank you very much, Paul. Paul Epner, we do a lot of work with Paul, literally on a daily basis. And Paul's on here, so you'll see some tasks and so on here with this and other projects. And basically, at the moment we're in the office together, but Paul's over in Ohio. Without systems like this, what would we? The best we'd have is maybe sharing a Skype chat, which is fine, nothing wrong with it. But this, to me, gives you a nice, clean, defined way of basically looking at your workload and what the urgency is. So we could look at, okay, show me the bugs, what I've got to work on. Straight away, I've got that. And if somebody's done the job right, so that is a booking 2580. Can actually put that up to the top. So basically, you work on a top-down principle. So that is Clubhouse and also Screen-O-Matic. So they're two things. I've got others to show as well. Don't worry. But any questions on that?
I don't see any questions, but that Clubhouse is pretty amazing for a free thing.
And they've guaranteed it to be free through. Let's go to their general site. Like I say, we were on Jira.
They're storing all that video and clips and everything up on their own server and everything. Wow.
Yep. Yeah, I think you go to pricing. I think they make the $0 per user. You can have up to 10 users, and free forever. So and even if you larger teams, $8.50 is not exactly crazy money either. And you get, of course, as you would expect, you get more features, but I've yet to see something that we need what it's not doing for us, and that's the mobile app and everything. So even while you're away, but you're not, you take a vacation, but you're still trying to keep an eye on things, of course. I've just got the phone, I can just keep a track on stuff and see how notes are going and just add notes and so on. Yeah, for me, that has been a major tool that we've used, and I wouldn't be without now. Definitely wouldn't be without. And the Screen-O-Matic is really handy as well, so you can document, the picture paints 1,000 words, and the video, for me, paints even more, that kind of thing.
Yeah, okay. I hadn't seen that before either. That looks pretty nice. It's similar to like Camtasia, but not as... I guess it just does that. It's really focused on doing what you did, right? Yeah.
I mean, I have to do some training videos. So you can see some Xero configuration testing and QuickBooks configuration testing, and these go out to support guys and installers and so on. They don't want to know anything about the back end. They just want to know, what do I have to click? What do I have to tell the customer? I just want a step-by-step guide. And yeah, it's great. You get to highlight, you get to change the screen size. So like say if we was recording, I can just say I only need this part of the screen, so you don't have to go changing and moving a load of icons and so on. You can just show one particular part and focus on it accordingly and so on. So,
yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah, it's really simple, really, really, really simple to use, and you can edit it because as I'm sure we've all done, if you've done any recordings, you get a background noise. You might screw up on the recording and maybe do a few expletives and so on as you do, and then you just basically have your video and you can just go and edit it. So you can say, okay, now I need to edit that, and maybe start there. Can't remember how we do it now. Put me on the spot, but you can crop. So I can say, okay, I need to crop out a certain part, or crop from here to the end of the video, and I'll just re-record. And the nice thing is, when you restart your recording, it puts your mouse back to where you was up to. So basically, if you was pausing and rewinding, it's during the recording. That's when we do it. So during the recording, if I'm, let's say I'm going to record that part of the screen. So it counts us down. Yep, we are recording, we're doing some stuff, so on and so forth. And then I think I'll go, oh no, that's not right. And there I can just rewind a little. Can't remember how I do it now. No, it's not in there. I think it's on the can't remember. Must be on the other. But basically, you can rewind and then restart. Oh, so I've there you go. So I've paused it. I've moved the mouse definitely, and then I think I can't remember what the shortcut is, but I'll press record. It puts you 3, 2, 1, and it will put the mouse back to where you started off when I'm using the shortcuts. So basically, if you was to pause and rewind a little and then carry on, then the mouse, there's no jumping around of the mouse. It just looks continuous from a recording point of view.
That's pretty clever.
Yeah, because that's one of the things I was concerned about. You know, you screw up, we all do, and then all of a sudden someone's watching that video back, and I'm clicking on an entry, and then all of a sudden I'm not on that entry, or I've clicked several. I've gone on several things. It basically puts you back as you were, so it's quite nice. So that's Screen-O-Matic, and I think it's something like I say, it's free. You can get the free version of it. How do I get out?
Done. Edit video. I don't know.
Come out. Not really bothered. Will come out, but basically you can get the free.
Screencast-O-Matic.
Should just be Screencast-O-Matic. Sorry, yeah.
See, I like the name. I think I'm feeling I should put O-Matic after all of my products now. So updated O-Matic, and yeah.
Okay.
I think that's a great idea.
So that's that. Now, there's no questions on that. Hopefully people are finding it informative. Now, and I've seen this mentioned on the news groups a few times, and it's basically, I don't know about John, I don't know if you have this. I do. I have my desktop machine. I also have some virtual machines that I might have to jump on, and some other dedicated dev machines. So I've got a big compile going on a project. It might take 50 minutes. Literally one project does take 50 minutes to compile, and that's on a powerful machine. So I don't want my machine, technically it's tied up for 50 minutes, but I don't want downtime for 50 minutes. So basically I want to be able to jump from machine to machine and carry on doing some work on different projects and so on and so forth. But how do you do that? Because ultimately, as you're working on one machine, that the others are going to be out of date, and their setup's going to be out of date, and so on. So this is I use basically with all the don't know where we have. There's a system called Dropbox, which I'm sure plenty of people have used and so on, and I did religiously for a long time and so on. And then just recently we started to question some of the costing, because when you get to Dropbox Teams, it starts to get a little pricey compared to a lot of the competitors out there. I don't like their the way that their terms and conditions, anything you upload technically becomes theirs. They can go and reshare it. If you look at the T's and C's, that scared the hell out of me, I've got to admit. But also, everything that goes to it and from it is fully unencrypted, which in this day and age is a bit of a shocker. I'm sure that's how they get some of their speeds and so on. But by the same token, I still don't particularly like it. We looked at a few alternatives. We looked at Google Drive. We looked at iDrive, and we looked at, oh crikey, there was another one. I forget what it was. But there's 1,000,001 of these things out there. And then we came across one called Sync. So here it is, Sync. Everything in Sync, which is, yep, just what it is. I think they give you free accounts, as you can see there. So if it's a personal account, you can just use it for 5 gig. So if you don't want to run it as Teams, not Microsoft Teams, as in a team of people. If you don't want to develop for a team of people and so on and so forth, you just want it for your own personal use, then it's free. We do have it for teams of people, but it's still pretty good. I think it's, from memory, something like $50 a year. I think it's something like $50 odd a year per person on there, and then you get an admin console, and you can manage the different setup and so on. So we have ours set up like that. I'll quickly show you one of the things that we have. So basically, you install it just like Dropbox or iDrive or plenty of others. We have it on our eDrive, or it could be on Finger. This machine's got it on eDrive, and there's Sync, and there's the folder. So I have different folders for different people, so on and so forth, and I have one for Clarion. So my Clarion is actually over in the E drive in E Clarion. And then under there I have my different versions of Clarion, and under there I would have my sub versions depending on the project and so on and so forth. So this can be quite big and so on. I also have my application development actually hosted under here. So I'm going to here and I'll go into me, and I've got my projects folder, and I could go into one of my projects. So there's schedule it. So there's my project folder and so on. And I want that to really keep live, if you will. One of the beauties of Sync is it's not a bad backup system in its own right, because they give you 1 year's worth of file history per, obviously per file and so on. So the other day I oh crikey, which file was it? I forget which file it was, but basically I screwed up on one of the files, and it was a FM3. It was a UPG file, and I'd screwed up, not done a version change, and so on and so forth, and I needed to bring it back. And like an idiot, I actually screwed it up several times over. So I just logged in, and I could just rewind back to the version from the night before and try a different test, and it's still screwed up, and I just rewound back again, and it's fast. It's really good. I can't say it's as fast as Dropbox, because Dropbox, as we know, is unencrypted, so they get to basically just synchronize just the differences between the files and put them back together at the other side. These don't. This is end-to-end encryption, so as it leaves your machine, it's not worth anything to anybody until it gets to the other side. So on, which for me is quite nice. And so back to the setup. So we have that. I'm going to go back to the Clarion just to demonstrate. So there's Clarion. Sorry, no. E. Sync Clarion. Now I'm not going to. For me, I don't like it over there. I prefer it to be in my normal C drive, as we would normally type of install it. So if I go to my C drive, I have somewhere my Clarion, and now that actually is that folder. So if I open C, and basically all I'm using here is the old make link. It's a symbolic link. So I have my actual Clarion running, and everything as far as Clarion is concerned, it's running in C Clarion, but realistically it's not. It's over in the E drive in the sync. So of course in here, if I was to go and create a new folder or a new file, not that, just some space. Thank you. New file. Clarion Live test. Okay. Truly, it's actually, there it is. It's over in the E drive, even though we've just done it in C. So we're just using symbolic links. And to make them really simple, I actually helped myself out when I was setting up a new machine. I just have some little batch file, so I can see there I have my Clarion, make it from the E drive. I'll just edit that so then you can see the command. You can see when I've been using iDrive and Dropbox and Google Drive, and I've settled on sync, but this is the command. So really, that's the command you're after. So it's make link /d, what you want to make. So C Clarion is what I want to make, and where am I making it from? And that just gives you a symbolic link, which again, we probably teaching people, what is it, granny and suck eggs, everyone knows how to do this. I'm just showing you how I have mine set up. But the beauty of that is, we've just done that. If I just quickly run on to one of our other machines. So it's another machine I can just quickly jump onto. And yeah, thank you very much. You see there, I was working on schedule on this machine yesterday because mine was busy. Go to there, and there's my Clarion. So basically there's a sync icon, it's up to date, and I'll go and remove it from here now. So that's gone, and it's just said it's going up. I'll come off this machine, of course. And so I'll come back here, and there you go, Clarion Live's just gone, and so on. Now, that's just, so I have that set up. I have my Clarions all in sync. So basically, if I ever do any particular changes, straight away, not straight away, a few seconds, depending on the size of the change, a few seconds, a few minutes later, then it's bounced across to the other machines. So I know that all my machines are in sync with each other. Excuse the pun, but all my machines are in sync with each other. Which means I don't have to worry, is that Clarion up to date? Do I have the same build on this machine, and so on and so forth? It's just there. It's just waiting for me. You could never do that with your application development using Dropbox, and I think it was similar with iDrive and Google Drive. To be honest, out of the lot, the worst results I got was Google Drive, to be fair. I found it not the best for keeping up to date and keeping in sync, which is a bit of a shame. Again, not OneDrive was the other one. I was trying to say, I knew there was another one we tried. I just didn't get the desired results from it. I'm not calling them, nobody sue me. I'm just saying my own personal experience, and I just didn't get the best results from it. When we used Dropbox, so I could open, I'm not going to do because I don't want to go into do any application dev and so on and so forth, but basically what I would do is when I was in Dropbox, I would have to go and pause the synchronizer, which of course you can do. I can do, they've got a control panel. You can go in and just click pause and think, I'm not going to pause, I'm going to leave it open. But application development, when I was using Dropbox, you had to pause it because you could, let's just open one of these, maybe updates. And it would say building, and you had a temp file, something like, I think pwee $, something like that. And that basically Dropbox was trying to sync it while Clarion was trying to use it, and Clarion had just blow up. It just didn't like it, but I think because it couldn't get exclusive access. I'm glad to report Sync is fine. I can do a compile here, and Sync will try, and so this is part of my development, my active development project here. So I'm going to do a compile. Not changed anything yet. Now we have, so Sync's just kicked into life. That's bouncing the files across to my other machine, or machines. And if it can't get access, basically Clarion has priority, and Sync just says I can't do it just yet, and I'll try again in a few seconds, and that's just what it does. So basically, it's compatible with Sync, which is a nice bonus for me. So, my application development, I'm working here. I've got the app open. Yeah, okay, well that's fair enough. That's just I'm still in there, but yes, basically the nice thing is I can leave the office. If I need to do any work at home on the laptop at night, that's fine. Turn the laptop on, give it a couple of minutes to sync back up, and I'm just carry on straight off where I was. So yeah, basically excuse the pun, but I'm in sync. So that's just another tip. And like I say, Sync can be free for single use. That's fine. We use it as for Teams, so I can manage what projects are passed to Wengel and so on, and Paul can pass stuff back and forth to me and so on and so forth. So yeah, so that's how we work it and so on. But you get the same results with a free account as well. Okie dokie. Any questions on that? Does that give you a different way of thinking of setting your Clarion up, or does that just scare the hell out of you?
No, I set mine up kind of like what you did because you showed me how to do it. And but I use OneDrive. We're just using OneDrive, and it seems to be working okay. So I don't know what issues you might have had.
OneDrive, it was probably a poor test on OneDrive. I'll be honest. It weren't on this machine. It was on my older machine. But the little service app was sat in the tray just ended up going absolutely wappy. Even though I uninstalled it, reinstalled, even clear registry entries and so on, and reinstalled afresh and so on, and it just wouldn't go on that machine. I ended up literally, you'd go into the system tray and you'd see hundreds of the OneDrive icon just over and over again. Yeah, and so it became unmanageable from that. So that was a non-starter. I mean, I've got accounts for that. I've got accounts for Google Drive. I've got accounts for iDrive. I've got a free account now because I've just taken it down of Dropbox. So I've got accounts for all of these things. It's just I happen to have the best experience by far from Sync.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. The OneDrive, once in a while, we have to start it up again. It seems like it doesn't. I don't know. It gets hung up. You're right. It does have issues for sure.
Oh, I'm sure. No software's perfect. Definitely not. But we've been running Sync now for a month, 6 weeks, something like that, maybe more. I don't know. A while. And I'm more than happy with it. And I was used to pausing, doing my day's dev, or maybe at lunch you don't do an unpause and that kind of thing. And one particular day, because I just got into that way of working, and one particular day I'd not done that, and I noticed it was just working, and the machines were bouncing around as they were. So then I did actually do some, just like you just saw, some explicit tests, and on the big compile with the one what takes 50 odd minutes, and it will come up and just give you a little notification saying this file is currently in use, so I'll just try again in a second, or a minute, that kind of thing. But so Clarion ultimately has the priority over it. So Clarion doesn't miss a heartbeat, which is good. That's the whole point. I don't want to do a big 50-minute compile and get Clarion to crash halfway through. That's just wasted time. So
there's one thing that OneDrive's been doing to me recently is all of a sudden it will pop up with a message and it will say something like, "You just deleted 430 files. Do you want to remove them or restore them back?" And that's all it says. But I don't know if I deleted them or someone else deleted them. And I don't know what they are. So I've just been like ignoring the message. So I don't even know what's happening to those things. I mean, what's going on here? I mean, sometimes I want to restore them, but what files? I mean, what's going on? So that's a little.
This is, I mean, let's just go to
weird.
The project here now. So me, project dev, and I know I've been working on Schedule It, so definitely there, Schedule It, and let's just choose a particular application. It doesn't matter, just choose a particular file. I know something will have changed. There you go, the config app. So from there, I can have a quick look and have a look at the version history, and you get 1 year's worth of history. So
that's nice. That's
not bad. So yeah, so I can load more. What's that going back to? So there you go. That's 9th of August, and so on. And you just the restore. I'm not going to click that, obviously, and so on. But basically, yeah, it's rapid, and you just click restore, open it in Clarion, and carry on working just as you were on that version. So yeah, so that's bailed us out. That's not bad as a backup option in its own right.
Yeah. We use AGC does that, but it's nice to have that as well. The more backups you have, the better, right? I mean, it's not
exactly.
Hurt
yeah.
To have an extra backup somewhere.
So the next one, again, a tool. Again, this is all utilities. It's a system called iDrive. Now we actually use this. Don't want to go into there. Going to just cut off my account and so on. But you can see here, this is it's cloud backup. You see there, you get 5 terabyte, and for your first year they're going to charge you $6.95. After that they'll charge you $69.95, which is not exactly bad. 5 terabyte. So that's not bad, and we use that for our actual our backups. So we have that running on the machines and so on. They have version history as well, but which we use prior to moving to Sync. We actually use that for the restoring some of the actual version histories and so on, and so on. So that's quite a recommendation. Again, we've got really good results because backups can be as cheap and as nasty as you like, but they're only worth, or they can be as expensive as you like, but they're only worth anything if they actually work and you can get something, you can restore your backup and so on. So I've known some reports where basically people have looked for backup solutions, just like we did. We looked around and so on, and they said, "Oh yeah, I'm only paying this," but then other people said, "We tried it, but when we needed it to restore, it didn't do. It was rubbish. It didn't do anything, which was very poor for us. So that's not the best. This we have on our server as well, so it links straight into." Let's just take a look. I'll just jump onto one of our machines, our database machine. It's our database server. And I'll actually go into iDrive. Here's one I prepared earlier. And as well as backing up your folders, as you would expect a backup solution to do, it will actually do your server as well. So the other day we needed to bring back some databases. And so I can go to my SQL Server, click Restore.
Hey, Andy.
Yep.
So will it back up like a Hyper-V VM, the whole VM?
Yeah, if you wanted it to, yeah. I think,
Really?
yeah. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I'll go down there so you can actually see. Keep going over.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Another and Exchange servers, yeah,
SQL Server.
yeah,
Wow.
SQL Server, and so on. And this is all built in. You actually get with this. Again, it sounds like it's a sales promotion. It's not. I've got no affiliation. I'm just trying to pass on good tips. But on here, as well as the backup, which of course is good, you actually get the sync service. So you get a I think it's 5 terabyte sync service with them, to go bouncing machine to machine. Is it 5 terabyte for the back? I forget what it is, but you get the sync service with it as well. So you might not have to use sync.com. The reason I didn't go with this for the syncing, we did originally, but I don't know if they do the teams, and I wanted to break it into teams so that all of the files weren't bouncing to every machine, because some of the stuff is private and privileged in certain projects. Only certain people work on that kind of thing, so they shouldn't be bounced around to all machines. So we didn't use it for that. Whereas having the Teams edition, the business edition of Sync, I could do that. So I can say what projects go onto what machines and that kind of thing. But you do get the equivalent of Sync built into this free.
Am I reading that price right though? I mean, that's like per year, $52.
Yeah, I paid $6.90. I know, honestly, it's ridiculous. I paid $6.95 for my first year. I'm on my second year with these now. Might even be on the third year, to be fair. And it went up to $69.95
for 5 terabytes. Wow.
Yep. That's not exactly bad. And I can vouch for their restore service because did a database just the other day. I've done apps. It's a cloud-based backup, so it does what it says on the tin. So. Okay, just one other. Well, no, a couple of others which help. It's the people who actually create iDrive is Remote PC. So it's the same company. We took a deal with these. Now I forget what deal we took originally because we were using. We've got a TeamViewer. It's an older one actually. It's 9 point. Get what it is, 9 point odd, so it's really old now actually. Paid a holy fortune for it back in the day, and so on. And then we took the newer online subscription and so on, and the costs just started to go up and up, and we started to just question, the amount we were using it for what we were paying. Did a bit of looking around, and we went with this Remote PC, and you can see buy iDrive. I think we paid something like $70. Oh no, it might be more. No. Let me have a quick look. I don't want to lie on that. You get 90% off for your first year, but where is it? Oh no, not the trade pass, the bugger. Yeah, first year it's 59 after that, but that's only for 2. No, we have the 10. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so it was $100 odd for up to 10 computers, and it's a remote PC service. So, for example, if I wanted to jump onto one of our machines, and it's got a mobile app, again, as you would expect.
They sure like the 5212, don't they?
So if I jump onto that machine, because there's another thing you show now. I'll jump onto that machine. It's not as fast as Windows RDP. I wouldn't say it's, I won't vouch for it there and say it's as fast as a Windows RDP and so on, but it's more than workable, definitely. And again, you can work it off your mobile. I remember genuinely, it was last year, I needed to jump onto a customer's site, and I was at the foot of the Eiffel Tower, and the only thing I had on me was my phone, and it was emergency, and I was able to do some particular data changes I needed via my phone. So it worked on a mobile signal and so on. So basically you would expect it works just as you expect. Multiple monitors. Don't think this has it actually. but it supports the multiple monitors. I'll go on to machine in a second what has them. But the reason I mention this is I've got WinDev on this machine. Now, if you try and run WinDev and the key, the USB protection, the copy protection keys. I think Arnold, you run WinDev. You have to have them in the machine. Now, if you try and go on to, I'm just going to come off here, and I'll RDP onto that same machine. Oh, crikey. That's in the other office. I should have just done it as me. That's no problem. Right. Give it 1 second.
Oh, is that why you are in France all the time, huh?
Like 30-second countdown for it to go in. I should have gone in as the admin, but never mind. But basically, if we try and run WinDev, and like I say, the keys are on that machine. If I try and run WinDev on this machine via RDP, and you will get that error because it doesn't allow it to be initialized via RDP. There's some USB redirectors out there which say they can work and so on. I didn't want to start basically screwing up the keys because it's a couple of grand and I didn't fancy just wasting that. So I thought, well, that's no problem. Well, I'll find a different way of working. But if I do that same connection, but I'll use remote PC.
Do they know they're slower?
Path. I've not told them, which I'm guilty of, saying they're not as fast as the Windows RDP. But basically, yeah. So I'm in there now. I'll fire up WinDev.
You know how we are about slow, right?
But basically, yeah. There we go. So basically, it's fine to use with the USB keys on that particular machine over a remote session. So that's a bit of a plus point. So yeah, that's just another one. And it's from the same people as, and you've just seen there. We just fire back in your machines.
Different.
You can
different website. Remote PC.
Yeah, so you can have
you might have me spending money today. Damn it.
I definitely should be commission based, but I'm not.
You should. You can be a partner.
So no, I'm busy enough on my development. I haven't got time for that stuff. But yes, basically, I mean, what was the price in there? I think the trial
$295.
$295 for a couple of machines. $3. It's not even a cost.
What a joke.
Yeah. So yeah, so that's that.
You probably need Team though, right? Unlimited user licenses.
Depending on where your usage, of course, you're going to have a look at your usage and what you need.
So say you had 1,000 customers, right? And you don't know who you need to connect onto, like TeamViewer. You can connect to anybody. You can do the same thing with this.
Don't know. I haven't got the 1,000 customers on there. I presume so, but you have to check with them. But yes, I can't see.
Even if you had 100, okay, you had 100 customers.
That's access to 100.
So you got to go to enterprise, basically.
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm saying is they count everybody you connect to.
Yeah. I suppose it's from that. It depends on your usage. For me, for our main customers, I have RDP into it. So when I said about that one, when I was at the foot of the Eiffel Tower, basically what I did is I remote PC onto the office machine, and then I did RDP straight onto the customers, that kind of thing.
Well, just even like I use mine TeamViewer for demos sometimes, for potential clients. I connect in that way.
So
depends.
Cool. That's funny. Cut that.
Okay, so that's interesting. Everybody has their angle, but the price looks incredible. Jeez.
Yeah, and the service, like I said, I'm in my second, possibly my third year with them, and I'm happy with that. So I mentioned another one, which because some of the work we do can be contractually per time, and you pay per time, and so on and so forth. So we want to track our time, and there's lots of things out there. So I'm just going to mention what we use, and it's a system called Toggl. In fact, they've just changed the name about 2 weeks ago. So if you do a search for Toggl, and it's no, not that one, Toggl, toggl.com, but they've actually just rebranded to Toggl Track. Yeah, Toggl Track, and that's literally, it's got to be within the last 2 weeks. You get, now can you guys see this? Where's my app? Oh, it's gone behind. Sorry, 1 second. The GoToWebinar is actually, well, let me get to it. Just 1 second, there we go. Can we see that? Can you see that on there? Is it coming on the screen? Anybody? Arnold, John?
I see ice cream.
Can you see the Toggl Track, the little desktop application?
Oh yeah. The 131,
Yes.
15,
Yeah.
16.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I connected to the webinar 1 hour 31 a minute ago. So I track my time this way, and it's a really, really, really simple system.
Oh, my wife would love that, but then I would have to be accountable.
Well, there is that, and it is pretty good at. Again, guess how much this one is? It's free. It's free up to 10 users.
I can't. I wish my wife didn't hear that.
So, but and they have extra facilities and extra plans, of course, because they're a business, like all of us are a business. I couldn't live without this. I genuinely couldn't. So basically, that's there. I can do that. I'm going to invoice some stuff. I'm going to have to watch what data I bring up, but I can go onto my menu and say, okay, I need to go into report mode. So it'll log me into, automatically just put me into my online account, and basically I can start analysing what time I've worked this week and so on, and then I can start filtering. So I can say, okay, what project? I'm going to say what hours have I worked on, schedule it. So that just filters your time down to
You
schedule.
track your sleep too, or what?
No.
Just work.
Just work.
Okay.
But yes, basically, so you can do that. You can bring it down to your client level. You can do it with team members. So I can say, okay, who's worked on that, and show me just Wengels. Okay, so
I wish
Wengels.
I started a long time ago. This sounds good.
And it's a mobile app as well. You know, if you can configure it,
Nice.
so if you've let's say you're reading an article, so your mouse and your keyboard aren't really active and you're in the middle of reading. You like to think it's a work article, so it's still chargeable. But you're reading the article, and I've got mine set to something like 5 minutes. So if you're inactive for 5 minutes, it will pop up and just give you a quick pointer, just say, do you want to keep this time or should you be discarding this time? Of course, that's all configurable in the setup, and so on and so forth. But yeah, for if you do any paid work for clients and you're on the clock, so to speak, then we couldn't live without this. And the reporting's pretty good. There is a calendar mode actually. Wengel, who showed me the other day, and I can't remember how you got to it, but I've got my data, so I'm going to watch some of the data. But basically, yeah, you can filter by client, by your team member, so I can say, okay, I need to see, because I think Wendy's done someone this week as well. So okay, yeah, so now our time's gone up 6 entries. We can have a look at that entries, what's broken down per entry. And to create a new entry, it's a case of I'll stop that, and I'll just create a new one. I'll just say I'm working on Niantic.
How do they make their money?
Don't know, to be fair. I'll do it. Working on Niantic command bars, and let's just say I'm speed enhancement.
Oh, that is handy because you can really break down.
You can break down that. You can start putting your different categories in. You just create on the fly. So let's just say it's not speed enhancement. It's actually webinar. So I haven't got a project for webinar, so I'll just create it. So it's a webinar for project, and I'm just going to put it against Niantic. There we go. And the project name is webinar. That's it logged. So from a reporting point of view, I'll be able to report on that the minute I stop that. So if I stop that and go up to projects. Okay, I want to prove it wrong. great. I have to give it. It does, believe me or not. Yeah.
I don't believe you.
It does. It does. so that's Toggle.
Oh, would that be multiple levels then? Is that what?
Restart
Could webinar
So-
webinar been put at a different level?
It's got to have been, because believe me, it works. And I've been using this for, it's got to be 3 or 4 years now. So yeah.
Okay.
So if I want to restart that one, so I've just broke off, I've done that. I don't have to retype it in, I can just press play, and now it's logging the new time. But from a daily point of view, if I was to stop that, it categorizes it, so there's 2 entries, and I'll just restart it again. So from a user interface point of view, it's really simple. You're not, the whole point is you don't want to be taking your time doing that. You want to take your time doing your dev. That's what we're all here for, and so on. So yeah. Right. Well, I'm kind of come to the end. There was only one extra one, which actually brought this whole webinar content around. And the scenario goes. I came back from France a couple of weeks back, and while I was out there, the UK had imposed restrictions on people returning from France, and you have to go into 14-day quarantine. So we did do, but it kind of caught me on the hop. I didn't know about it, so I went home. I had a particular machine at home, but just one monitor, and I'm used to working with 3 or 4 monitors, so that kind of restricted me a little. Talk about first world problems, but in reality, it did restrict me a little. So this is built into Windows 10. It's a task view, and basically it gives you, for want of a better term, your multiple monitors. So you go into here, so I can say, okay, and this is now cut into. I've got 3 monitors, so as you're not seeing it, but I'm looking at what's gone on in each of the monitors over the last week, that kind of thing.
No.
Yeah, but you can actually
Seriously?
have 30 days if you're logged into your account, but mine's a domain user. Even though it's married to my Microsoft account, it doesn't recognize it. So, but it does record it. So now I'm going to create a new desktop. So I'm going to create a brand new desktop, and there we go. I'm on that
Is
desktop.
that how you track your daughter's machine?
There? No, it's just this machine. So I'm on here. I'm on this desktop, and I could have this folder open, and I'm working away, so on and so forth, and I could have that browser session open. So I shall, let's say, I'm on the BBC. There we go. Oh, great, brilliant news. Right, I'm going to create another desktop. So I need a 3rd desktop, and on here I could have these particular folders open. So now I've got a couple of folders open, and that's on Drive D, and I'm in App Dev. Oh, that's a symbolic link. So even though that's over in sync, I just have my D drive as my development drive. Technically, it's stored on E in my sync, but I'm used to it being D. So I've got that open, and maybe I've got Clarion open as well, that kind of thing. And I'll have a different browser open. So I've got the same Avast browser, but I'm also looking at ClarionLive.com. And now I need to switch back to my other project. So I can just do Windows D. Oh, that's a new desktop. So I jump onto there, jump back to that, and I'm back where I was with that project, with that folder open. And switch back again to our webinar, and that's where we're with those folders open. So it's multiple desktops. It's built into Windows. At that, people are probably cringing, saying, "Really, you're only just using that?" I've been on Windows 10. I don't know, quite a while now. Since it came about and was proved to be okay, and so on. And I've seen the icon down there, and just never really got around to using it. And when in Unix and Linux, when I'm on there, I use the multiple desktops all the time, but never really thought, it's crazy, but I never thought to use it in Windows. And lo and behold, came back from France, only had the one monitor, and I needed a way to try, and I'm working on different projects, and I needed a way to keep my desktop separate, otherwise I'm just going to lose track of everything. So I just did some reading up, and it was a case of why have I never used that before? It's so much
That's
easier.
pretty cool. Hey, do you use VMs at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
But have you used a combination of VMs and that task view?
Oh, sorry, no, I haven't. It's only, like I say, the last couple of weeks I've actually been using the task view. So no, I
Mhm.
haven't from that point of view. So yeah, so that's
Yeah,
my
wow.
presentation for today. So I'll post a link up if you like, and basically they are the majority of there's a little thing I can't remember its name. And also, if you've got multiple monitors, it's just there it is, Ultramon. I couldn't live without that. So I can just chuck screens left and right. So basically, Control Alt and left, I have my keys set up. So that's my active window. I can just move it.
Wait. Can you talk about that?
Ultramon, yeah.
Yeah.
Because basically, otherwise, I'd have to move it and like so on, and move it from monitor to monitor. Whereas I've just set up shortcut keys in Ultramon. Where's my can't remember how I would do it. Shortcuts? Yeah, it must be shortcuts. Manage shortcuts. No, it's definitely not that. It's I'll go into options. It's an old package. This I got it years ago. Buttons and thingies. Right, let me just go back in. I think I was a bit too fast for it there. Sorry. Options. Right. Yeah. Buttons. No. Where's my shortcuts?
So this is primarily to what?
Basically,
Manage all your monitors?
yeah. So you
Or-
do application. So basically, I'll open a window here. Let's have a new Explorer session, and I want to put it. I want to put that on my left monitor. You won't be able to see it, but I'll hold down Control Alt and left. Gone to the monitor on the left. It's now gone to the monitor on the right because it's rotated.
Instead of dragging it there, right?
Yeah, and back again. So basically, I just need a window. I need shortcut keys. So basically, I can just bounce the active window. So if I'm on that browser, I can bounce that to the left, bounce it to the right. And it's just a quick. That's Ultramon. I don't even know if it's still for sale.
Ultramon.
Real-time soft Ultramon. Yeah, that's them. It's really old. Yeah, 2018 341. So yeah, that's the version I'm on. It's little things which I'm sure people are watching this and they're thinking, you probably hopefully they're liking what they see. But there'll be 101 shortcuts or utilities which we all use on a daily basis, and we're not sharing our knowledge. Hence, the purpose of today, and so on. Might be useful for some people. Might have just wasted an hour and 28 minutes of somebody else's time. I hope I haven't. Yeah, it's just tools which has helped us in our daily development.
I guess that he's improved it, or she has improved it far beyond what they need to.
There's not much more, you can do.
Yeah.
It kind of does what it says on the tin. You can, if you go into the options, just trying to say that option.
All of us have multiple monitors, right? So
yeah.
You
do it's not that screensaver, it's not mirroring. You can have multiple tasks, but some of these options now are built into Windows, so you don't really need to use them. It was in here. I'm just trying to think. I thought it was here. You can have buttons added, and they will add themselves to the window. But personally, I don't, because they look ugly. It's showing its age, and they basically they come on top and they look ugly. And I'm a very keyboardy person, so I'll just use I have mine set to Windows Alt, left and right, and so on. The only thing you've got to watch is, I think some Intel drivers also use that same key combination to change the rotation. So I disable the Intel and go with Ultramon, because that's what I'm used to using. There we go, hotkeys. I knew it was in here. Yeah, so you can see I've just set up, move to the next monitor, Control Alt right, move to the previous monitor, Control Alt left. But you can define them to whatever you want them to be.
Wow. How much time do you spend looking for productivity tools? Because it looks like you got some nice ones.
I don't. That's the thing now. I probably spent by far in the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks since coming back and only having one monitor and so on, I read more up on TaskView then
Uh-huh.
kind of over productivity stuff for quite a while. The last big change for us was Sync. Yeah, that was the last big change. And before that was Clubhouse. Toggle, we've probably used, it's got to be 3 or 4 years. Yeah, minimum. Screenomatic, probably a couple of years. iDrive Online and Remote PC, definitely a 2 years, because I know I'm in the second year of the renewals. So all of these are tried and tested stuff.
Wow, that iDrive is really interesting and unbelievable price.
Yeah, and it works. That's the thing. I know you can get some cheap alternatives online, but they're only as good as doing the job that they're designed for. But it does. I bailed it. It bailed me out with. It was actually Schedule It, the database. When I was doing that UPG upgrade, I screwed up my database the other day. So I just went on to iDrive, told it to restore it, and it was straight off into my SQL.
Have you used a Toggle Plan, the planner?
No.
Okay.
Where's my toggle there? Let's go into my reports. Again, you've got all preferences on toggle, as I mentioned, and so on. I'm going to just quickly filter this, if you don't mind. If you don't mind, there you go. Thank you. I'm just trying to see some of the reporting. We've got to set up our teams. I mean, there's other things in here which I just don't use. So, I think that's a paid one. Yeah, that's a paid. I could have done with Wengle being here because she told me how to put it into this calendar view, which was really interesting. Yeah, it weren't any of this, and so on. But yeah, today's her college day anyway. Besides which, she would have finished by now. That's it. I'm kind of out of content. I harped on for far longer than I expected to be honest. Any questions on anything? I know. It's always the famous last word. People are still watching. Either that or they fell asleep, and their toggle would have told them that.
Oh, there you go. Would have woken them up. Okay, so Andy, I wanted to contribute a little here. So if you can type in stardock.com.
Oh, I used to use them.
Oh, you got fences or what?
They have
Something
quite a
else?
few things, and if you just hover where it says software, it shows all of their products. Just hover over there. There you go. Okay, so I can tell you which ones of these I use. I use Start 10 because I don't like the Windows menu.
Can we
for whatever
go
reason. I don't like
go to that?
No, just leave it right there.
Okay.
Multiplicity, I've used that, but I don't want to pay for it. So I ended up using a free alternative because I'll have like a laptop next to me and my regular computer, and Multiplicity lets you use the same mouse and keyboard on both. You can go back and forth and copy and paste between the laptop.
Between machines?
Between machines. Yeah. Yeah, it works really good. But there's a free one that a guy from Microsoft wrote that I've been using, and it works for what I need it to do. It works well. But it's pretty neat, yeah. Especially if you have if you need to copy files between two machines or something, or control both with one keyboard, it's pretty nice. Curtains, I'm not even sure what that is.
But the Multiplicity only costs like $40 for like 9 PCs.
True.
And that's a one-time cost, right?
It was too much. Yeah.
Well, especially you like a lot of toys, so.
Yeah. So the free one works fine. Anyway, Fences. You use this one, Arnold, right?
Yep.
I still use it. That just lets you group your icons on your desktop into what they call fences, but it's just a group. And then if you double click on the desktop, they all go away. So it keeps your desktop super clean. Yeah. And I never bother to group them. I just use it to clear everything. And I never look at my icons. And then Groupy, you've seen me use this in the presentations. This lets you make tabs out of anything. Like in a browser, you can have tabs, right? I have tabs with Clarion. I have kind of working tabs where I have a browser and I've got Management Studio and the debugger and my search, and they're all in tabs across the
Why
top
don't you
of my
take
window.
over anyway? Take over the screen.
Yeah.
And show it.
Okay, well, you guys have seen it before.
No, but you're gonna close up
When-
anyway. Wrap
When
it
we
up.
come back to me, I guess I can
Yeah.
show it. Anyway, if you click on Groupie, that's kind of the one I wanted to show.
Oh, sorry.
Because I think people have asked about it before. But like on my one monitor,
Uh-huh.
I'll during the day I'll end up with maybe 7, 8, 9 Clarions, and they're all tabbed across the top. And then I'll just flip between them as I need to use them. But if you scroll down, well, I think almost all the way to the bottom. Oh, well, at the top would be fine. It shows you all the things you can do.
Oh, okay.
It's got a few quirks. Anyway, click on the Get It Now. It's got a few quirks. Once in a while, I'll click on a tab and it will stick to the mouse and pull the tab out, and that can be a bit annoying. But I just dock it again. It doesn't happen that often. Otherwise, it works really well. Anyway, it's $5 here. I think it's £5.
That's
or-
pounds.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's fine.
but if you have the American site, it's $5.
Oh, okay. Must be about the same. Then.
Yeah, they're ripping you guys off over there in England, I think. Or they ripping us off?
Well,
Oh,
They're
they're,
ripping you
Shock
guys off.
horror. We get ripped off
They're
all the
making you guys
time.
spend more. Yeah, because $4.99 here is cheaper, I think, than $4.99 there.
Yeah, it's about 1.3, something like that, about 75p in the pound.
That's right. So buy the American version. Come to America with your VPN or something. But anyway, yeah, I thought it was so cheap, and it really helps. Plus, you can define groups. So when I start up my computer, I'll just click on a predefined group, and it will bring them all up, and I'm ready to go. So anyway, just try free for 30 days. 30-day free trial. You can give it a go, see if you like it or not.
I think it's worth. I'm going to let's put them out now. Put it into dev. Yeah, okay. I shall definitely take a look at that myself.
you groupie you. Okay.
Right, do you want to wrap it up, John?
Wrap it up, Tom.
I can wrap it up. I'll bring it over here and show you my groups that I've
Oh,
got going.
We've got a question actually from Paul. What is the free multiplicity called?
What is that
Oh.
called?
Oh, so you were saying you got the one from Microsoft guy. You were
Yeah,
saying
from Microsoft.
yeah.
Yes, I could find it.
Yeah, but
Maybe.
this way you can call this way you can call Stardock up and say, "Hey, so can you go
Is that it?
between PC,
Oh,
laptop?"
actually,
Yeah.
I've got one other utility
I'll show
which
you.
might help
I
you.
found
What's
it.
that?
So, okay, I did a compile before. Let's just jump to that folder. App dev and schedule it. Now I'm going to go to that folder, and there's a utility called Agent Ransack, which is pretty good. I'm going to do it on that folder. So here it is. Again, this is free, which is pretty good. And I'm going to look in the CLWs, but you can look in apps as well. You can look at everything. And I'm just going to look for something called reload staff. And you keep the history. So I can just say that. And it shows me in the CLW. So it's basically, but I can jump straight into that if I needed to and open it up and change it accordingly and so on and so forth. So I use that quite a lot. I forgot about that. It's this typical thing which you use, and you just take for granted. But if I've got the whole, let's say I'm just going to do all the files in there, and I'm just going to look for, I'm going to regret this event. So it's going through. We can see in the apps and so on and so forth. So if I'm looking for, have I used such and such a variable? Can I get rid of a variable? I'll dip into it and just get it to. I'll do a full compile. I've got all the CLWs there. Have a look at the variables being used. It's not right. I know I can get rid of it, and so on. It's a text search, but it's fast and powerful.
That's almost like Randy Rogers' thing, but what's it called? Search
Agent Ransack.
Agent Ransack. What a name.
Oh, sorry, I spelled it wrong.
it's almost another like everything is so fast. Oh, you can buy a Pro.
Oh yeah. Don't need screenshots because I kind of just shown it you. But you can give it. I don't really use them, but in your it supports all the wildcards and so on and so forth. So you can give it patterns, and you can give it search in your patterns. You can actually give it your search patterns as well, and so on should you need to.
I hope November comes soon. So if there's Black Friday, I'm buying a bunch of these things.
So you can say that you can do find or that kind of thing. So yeah,
You can use a free one for a while, huh?
I've been using the free one for about 8 years.
Oh.
So it's not bad.
Downloading now.
Okay, please, John, wrap it up.
Wrap it up,
Let
John.
me bring it over here.
Oh, Paul says uses Agent Mansack every day. Well,
Every day?
We're in good
Hey.
company. That's good.
Does he use the Pro or the freebie?
We'll find out in a second.
Okay. Where's your tabs, man?
Both.
They're right here. They're all across the top. So
Whoa.
this is the browser tab. So it's got, of course, tabs on it. The
You
browser.
got tabs galore.
Yeah, this is how I start up when I do my work. So I have, these are all the things I use like every day. And they just all launch automatically and quickly, and they're ready to go. So this is the dbeaver I talked about, which is the database manager. Ultimate Debug, of course, is up there. This is a command prompts. So I launch a lot of my test stuff from there. There's quick source search right there. Just talking about.
Which is very similar.
You really only need one monitor then, John.
Kinda, yeah.
Mhm.
Management Studio, use that a lot, and then Notepad++, which also has a bunch of tabs.
Yes.
So it's tabs and tabs and tabs and tabs. And then on my other monitor, my one on the left, it's a larger monitor, and it's got all the Clarions are on that side. So I keep Clarion on my left, and then this stuff is in the middle, and then the social stuff, Skype and all this stuff is on the far right. That's how I have it organized.
That's how you roll.
That's how I roll. And then this is the mouse without borders that Paul was asking about. This is the free
without
multiplicity. I don't think it does as much as multiplicity might do, but there you go. So it shows the monitors I've got, and then you just set them up, and I don't know what all the options are, but it was pretty quick to go through. But yeah, so just a Microsoft guy made it and gave it out for
Between
free.
computers. But is it only PCs? I mean, you can't go to a Mac, right?
No, I'm not sure about multiplicity, but I know this is Microsoft only, Windows only.
So do you have to be?
I don't know.
Does it have to be physically connected? I guess it does. It can't.
No, just on the network. It's using the network to control the mouse between them.
Because I keep swapping out my connections to the machine to the monitors, so I can just have it connected to one computer, and then.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a
What
minute.
it is that my mouse
with the monitors.
No, my mouse
monitors.
moves. No, this is not a sharing thing. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's moving my mouse from here to this other screen.
Yeah. And the keyboard.
And the keyboard. Yeah.
Okay. So I just need to have more monitors.
Right. Now
You need that Black Friday deal.
You need more monitors. The copier is better in multiplicity. When you copy it from here, it somehow uses OneDrive, and it seems a little clunky to me. The multiplicity one is definitely better. But I don't do a lot of copying, so this just worked okay for me.
Oh man, that would work fantastic.
See, I got a new computer. I named it Eliza after Hamilton's wife. There you go.
Oh, you must have Disney
Alexander,
Plus.
Alexander Hamilton. Yeah. I saw it in New York. We saw it in New York.
Yeah, I saw it in San Francisco.
It's cool, huh?
Yeah.
Excellent.
New York. Okay.
I was going to show you how to dock something too. Let's see. So if you dock something, you just move it up.
Mm-hmm.
See how it turned gray, It says insert
Ooh.
group here, and then if I let go, then it's docked.
So can you dock like another VM?
Yeah, you can dock anything you want. Anything that's in a window, you can dock it here. 30-day free trial. I don't get any money from them either. They should.
We're missing a trick here.
$5. We are. But I've just enjoyed using it a lot. It had some bugs for a while. And again, it will stick once in a while. Like if I click here, once in a while this will pop out and it'll be stuck to the mouse, and I'll just have to click it. And then you go over here and you just regroup it. You go add to group, and then you can just add something to the group. But this is where you can save groups. These are the groups I have saved. I only have one saved group. Yeah, sorts of nice things. Pretty nice utility, I think.
Yeah, very nice.
So that puts us back here. To wrap it up.
Look how efficient that is.
You see that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's it, everyone. Thank you all. Apologies for the buffering in the stream. I can see it doing it. I don't know. It's been working great all week. I have no idea. I think playback will be okay, I guess. But anyway, nothing I can do about it. So there you are. So what's happening tomorrow is our second CIDC 2020 presentation. And then next week is Noyantis. You have your user group on Monday, right, Andy?
We do, yes.
Yep, so that happens. Wednesday is the open webinar. Thursday, Net Talk, and then right back here again for Bruce Johnson and the Jason the Clarion Converter. Good job, Andy.
Thank you very much. Hopefully it gives somebody some ideas. That's all you can ask.
You know, I find it interesting just to watch how other developers work, you know, because if you don't see what other people are doing, how do you know how to
What
improve?
the options are. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly what the options are. All right, very cool. Thanks, everybody. Stay home, stay safe, stay healthy, and see you next week or tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
And Andy, thank you for testing all those different tools for years before you passed it on.
Well, at least you know they work. At least you know that. You know,
Yeah,
call it service to the community.
Excellent. Bye, everybody.
Okay. Bye.
Have a great weekend. Bye.